Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ben, and today we are going to be doing episode 6 of the video series, So You Want to Be a MATLAB God. Today we are going to be talking about for loops. So first off, what is a for loop? So for loops are loops in a code that allow you to run a certain algorithm a certain specified number of times. So for instance, if you guys are familiar with, say, Newton-Raphson method, if you want to do 5 iterations of Newton-Raphson, you could do a for loop with an iteration counter going up to 5, and it will do 5 iterations of that. Or say you want to build a matrix that is, say, some specified size. You can also do that with a for loop. So let's do a basic structure of a for loop. So we are going to just start by saying for, and we're going to say x, for instance. And x is going to go from 1 to 6. And then to close that off, just like all the other things in MATLAB, we type end. And so if we run this, nothing's going to happen really because there's nothing inside the for loop, but we can see that x ends with a value of 6. But if we want to see what actually happens, we can do disp, which is not something you should use, but nice and convenient, disp to x. And as you can see, we have 1 through 6. So x actually does go from 1 to 6. So another cool thing we can do is we can fill a matrix. So let's start by just making a vector. So we're going to start by having a blank vector, and to do this, we just simply say A is equal to just open, close bracket. And now A would just be a empty vector as is. So let's say we want the A vector to just fill in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can say A comma x is equal to A. So what this is going to do, or let's say it's equal to x, sorry, x. So what this is going to do is on the first position of A, it's going to make it 1. Same thing for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's run this real quick. And as you can see, we have our A matrix, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So another cool thing we can do to kind of just get a good understanding of how you can use for loops is we can print a matrix. So I'm going to make up a matrix and make it a 3 by 4. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oop. And so if we go run this, I'm going to not suppress it. As you can see, this actually prints out our matrix, but we still have this A here, and it's really kind of a sloppy way to actually print it out. So we are going to use a for loop to print it out in a more proper fashion. So to start off, we want to know the size of A. So MATLAB has a cool function called size, and you can use this for any size matrix, and it will tell you how many rows and how many columns it has. So the syntax is rows columns equal to size A. And so we run this, we see that we have 4 columns and 3 rows. So that's cool. So we can use this in our for loop. So this little code will work out for printing off any size matrix. So now we are going to say for, and we're going to use I as our index variable, equals 1 to rows. So this is the number of rows, so make a little comment. So this moves down a row with every iteration. And then so we're going to need another for loop to move across each row and have the number that's in each column. So we're going to have for j equals 1, 2 columns. And so this is going to move across your current row with every iteration. And so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to print f, and we're going to use %.0f because we just have integers, and then we're going to use /t just to make it look a little nicer. And then what we want to do is a, and then it is the index I, comma j. And so then we can hit end, and then and I'm going to make one more space here because we'll need it. And so we have a for loop inside of a for loop. So this for loop is going to start at 1, and then it's going to run this for loop all 4 times in this case. And then it's going to go back to this loop, and it's going to go to 2, and then run the same thing, and so on and so forth. And so the next thing we want to do is, because we don't want this to all just print out in a giant row, we want this to actually look like a matrix, so we are going to fprintf, and we're going to use the /n command so that we can go down. And so now when we go and run this, we should have our A matrix printed out nicely. And as you can see, we do. So there's a lot more complex things you can do with for loops, so you can do some really cool things. For instance, let's get off of this little matrix example, and let's say we want to have a for loop go from 0 to 10, but we don't want to go by ones. We want to go by 0.1. We can say for I equals 1, and we can specify that it goes by steps of 0.1 all the way up to 10. And then we can have a little space, end, and let's just have I here. And as you can see here, we have our I increasing by 0.1 on each iteration. So that can also be very useful. That is all I have for loops. They are pretty simple and straightforward. In upcoming episodes, we may make some codes that use these. So if you're looking forward to that, please stay tuned for more episodes. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed or learned something, please like, favorite, subscribe, and have a nice day.